Defining your definite chief aim. HP. Defining your definite chief aim. Introduction. This audiobook operationalizes a definite chief aim as a single written mission that governs decisions, priorities, and daily habits. It synthesizes classic goal-setting evidence where specific, challenging goals plus feedback outperform vague, do-your-best aims, with practical goal frameworks and behavior change findings into a stepwise method you can apply immediately. You will produce a one-sentence aim statement, measurable key results, a 12-week execution plan, an if-then obstacle protocol, and a weekly review routine that converts intention into consistency. Each chapter contains narrated instruction, reflection prompts, and a short guided exercise so that you leave not just inspired, but equipped with a clear mission, a measurement dashboard, and a repeatable execution rhythm. A definite chief aim is not a mood or a motivational slogan. In its classic formulation, it is something you write down and treat as a governing purpose. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill explicitly frames the definite chief aim as a written description you commit to pursuing. Modern research complements this. Goals work best when they are specific and appropriately challenging, and when progress is monitored with feedback. Research summarizes decades of evidence that goal specificity and difficulty reliably improve performance, provided commitment, feedback, and task knowledge are handled properly. A typical failure mode is the intention-action gap. People can sincerely intend to act and still fail to start or get derailed mid-striving. Implementation intentions, using the formula, if situation Y, then I will do Z, are designed to close that gap. These are if-then plans that link cues to goal-directed responses, improving initiation and follow-through. For obstacles, the WOOP framework formalizes a scientifically grounded sequence: wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan. This combines mental contrasting with if-then planning. Controlled studies show that mental contrasting with implementation intentions can improve real outcomes such as grades, attendance, and health. For long-term execution, habit formation matters because repeated behaviors can become more automatic over time. Habit formation time is variable, while the 66 days figure is often cited as an average. The actual range can be anywhere from 18 to 254 days. Because of this variability, a definite chief aim also benefits from being meaningful. Purpose in life has been associated with better long-term outcomes, including longevity. Research reports that purpose predicts reduced mortality risk across adulthood. When choosing a framework for your journey, consider 3 core models. First is SMART, which clarifies targets by making them specific, measurable, and time-related. Second is OKR, which sets a clear objective for direction and key results for measurement. Finally, there is WOOP, which is best for behavior change and managing recurring obstacles by converting those obstacles directly into plans. If your life feels busy but directionless, you do not need more effort. You need a governing aim. By the end of this introduction, you will understand what a definite chief aim is, why it changes decision-making, and what you will produce as you listen. Drift is not a character flaw. Most people do not fail because they are lazy. They fail because they are aiming at nothing in particular. When there is no clear target, every demand feels equally important, and the loudest thing wins. A definite chief aim solves that. It gives you a single North Star that turns daily choices into a coherent path. In operational terms, a definite chief aim is a written mission statement that is specific enough to guide action and measurable enough to track. It is a goal hierarchy One top-level aim supported by goals, plans, and habits. Goal-setting research consistently finds that goals direct attention, mobilize effort, and increase persistence. This audiobook will make those conditions explicit. You will define the aim, create measurable indicators, build feedback loops, and install a weekly rhythm. You will build 4 artifacts: a one-sentence chief aim statement, a set of measurable key results, a 12-week execution plan with weekly review, and an obstacle protocol using if-then planning. Get a notebook or an open document. At the top, write, "My definite chief aim draft." Leave space beneath. You will rewrite this several times. That is the point. First, choose one life domain to prioritize for this audiobook: health, career, business, relationships, learning, or contribution. Second, commit to a 12-week window to test your aim. Third, decide your weekly review time now, even if you later adjust it. Sit comfortably, unclench your jaw, take one slow breath in through the nose for 4 counts, and out for 6. Now ask yourself, if I kept living as I'm living now for the next 3 years, what would I regret not pursuing? Do not debate. Notice the first honest answer. Next ask, what would make me proud, even if no one applauded? Again, notice the first answer. Finally ask, what would simplify my decisions if it were clear? Open your eyes. Write 3 short phrases. Not a plan. Just signals. Consider these questions. Where am I drifting? What is the cost of that drift? What would change if I had one governing aim? Clarity reduces decision fatigue. A chief aim is written, measurable, and lived. You will build a complete aim-to-action system, not a slogan. In this introduction, you have set the frame. You are not chasing motivation. You are installing a governing aim and a feedback-driven execution system. Over the next chapters, you will turn a vague desire into a definite, measurable mission, and then into daily behavior. Part 1. Discovering the definite chief aim. Chapter 1. Why you need a definite chief aim. If you do not choose your aim, your environment will choose it for you. In this chapter, you will diagnose drift, identify the decision problems it creates, and define the function your chief aim must serve. The hidden tax of keeping options open. Keeping options feels safe. It is also expensive. When every option is possible, action becomes negotiable. You can always delay. A definite chief aim narrows the field. It gives you a reason to say no without guilt. Aim versus goals versus tasks. Your aim is the highest level direction. Goals are measurable outcomes that serve the aim. Tasks are actions that serve goals. When people confuse these layers, they either live in vague aims with no action or in endless tasks with no meaning. We will build all 3 layers in order. The attention mechanism. One reason goals work is that they organize attention. When the target is explicit, your mind detects relevant opportunities and filters noise. Goal-setting theory treats this as a core mechanism. Your chief aim should therefore be written in a way that your attention can recognize in daily life. The commitment mechanism. The best goal is useless without commitment. Commitment increases when the aim is chosen by you, aligned with values, and supported by a plan. So our next chapters focus first on desire and values, then on definiteness. Write a drift inventory. Complete these sentences. I say I want, but I repeatedly do, My weeks are filled with but my life is missing. If nothing changes, the consequence in 1 year is Name the domain you will prioritize for 12 weeks. Write one sentence describing the cost of drift in that domain. Choose one behavior you will stop doing this week because it does not serve your future. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a normal weekday. See your morning, your work, your evening. Now imagine one change. You have a clear chief aim written on paper. As you move through the same day, notice what becomes easier to decide. Notice what is no longer worth your time. Open your eyes and write, with a chief aim, I would stop, and start. What am I currently optimizing for? Comfort, approval, distraction, or growth? Which decisions keep repeating because I have no governing rule? What would I be willing to trade for a clearer future? Drift creates hidden costs and repeated indecision. A chief aim sits above goals and tasks. Clarity improves attention, and commitment sustains execution. A definite chief aim is not pressure. It is a decision rule. It reduces drift by organizing attention and making trade-offs explicit. Chapter 2. Discovering your true desire. Your chief aim cannot be borrowed. If it is not yours, you will not protect it. You will separate authentic desire from social expectation, and you will identify the motivational why that makes effort sustainable. Desire is data, not a demand. Desire is information about what you value. You do not need to obey every desire, but you should listen, because recurring desires reveal direction. The job here is not to inflate a fantasy. It is to identify a durable pull. Autonomy matters. Motivation, quality matters, not just motivation quantity. Self-determination theory argues that autonomy, competence, and relatedness support internalized motivation and well-being. So we test desire by asking, would I still want this if no one knew? The 3 desire filters. First, energy. Does thinking about it give you steadiness or dread? Second, sacrifice. Are you willing to pay a real cost? Time, discomfort, learning. Third, identity. Does it match the person you respect? If a desire fails these filters, it is often a performance goal for others. The regret test. A useful tool is anticipated regret. If you did not pursue this, would you care in 5 years? This is not morbid. It is clarifying. Write 3 lists. Things I do that give me quiet satisfaction. Problems I feel drawn to solve. Skills I could practice for years without resentment. Circle 1 item from each list. Look for overlap. Choose one desire that passes energy, sacrifice, and identity filters. Write 1 sentence. I want this because blank. Identify 1 skill you must build to deserve this desire's outcomes. Breathe in slowly. Say silently, I give myself permission to want what I want. Now picture a room with no audience, no comments, no judgment. In that room ask, what do I want to build, learn, or contribute? Wait for 1 clear answer. Now ask, what would make this meaningful? Open your eyes and write 2 lines. I want underscore, underscore, underscore. It matters because underscore, underscore. Which goals are mine and which are inherited? What am I trying to prove? What would I pursue if approval was removed? Authentic aims require autonomy. Desire should pass energy, sacrifice, and identity filters. A chief aim starts as a chosen desire, then becomes a defined mission. You clarified a desire you will actually defend. Without this, the rest becomes compliance instead of commitment. Chapter 3. Defining your vision. A vision is not a daydream. It is a specification. You will translate desire into a picture of outcomes, constraints, and personal standards. So your brain knows what done looks like. Why vision must be concrete? Vague visions produce vague action. Specificity is a known property of effective goals. So we will describe not only what you want, but what it looks like in observable terms. The 3 vision elements. Outcome, what changes in the world or in you. Process, what your days look like while becoming that person. Constraints, what you will not do to get it. Constraints matter because they define integrity. The 1-year snapshot. Take your 12-week plan seriously, but use a 1-year snapshot to decide direction. If you stayed on track for a year, what would be true? This makes the vision realistic enough to motivate action. Vision aligned with values. A chief aim that violates your values creates internal friction. This is where many people sabotage themselves. They chase an outcome that requires becoming someone they dislike. So you will define the kind of person you remain while pursuing the aim. Write a 1-page vision brief with 4 headings. What I create or achieve. How I spend a typical week. What I stop tolerating. What I protect at all costs. Write your 1-year snapshot in 5 sentences. Add 2 constraints. I will not hunt to achieve this. Identify 1 daily behavior consistent with your vision. Close your eyes. Imagine it is 12 months from today. You did not get lucky. You got consistent. Where are you? What does a good day look like? What proof would convince you that you are on track? Now open your eyes and write 1 measurable sign of progress and 1 behavior you repeated. What would on track look like in observable terms? Which constraint protects my integrity? What would I stop tolerating if I respected my vision? Specificity strengthens execution. Vision includes outcome, process, and constraints. Values alignment prevents self-sabotage. You converted desire into a concrete vision brief, a necessary bridge before you write the aim precisely. Part 2. Breaking down the aim. Chapter 4. Setting the foundation. Clarity of purpose. Clarity is the difference between a wish and a plan you can execute. You will write your first definite chief aim statement and stress test it for clarity, measurability, and decision usefulness. What definite means? Definite means 1 sentence, plain language, no loopholes. In the classic framing, it is written and pursued. In modern practice, it also means it can guide today's choices. Use SMART as a drafting tool. SMART began as a method to write objectives that are specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time-related. We will not worship the acronym. We will use it to remove ambiguity. The chief aim sentence formula. Draft this. My definite chief aim is to create or achieve ____. For Y by date, measured by metric, by becoming the type of person who ____. If that sentence feels heavy, good. It means it is concrete. The decision test. A valid chief aim answers these daily questions. Should I say yes to this? Is this worth my time today? What do I practice this week? If it cannot answer at least 1, it is still vague. Write 3 versions of your chief aim. Version A, ambitious. Version B, realistic. Version C, minimum viable aim for 12 weeks. Choose version C for execution. You can scale later. Draft your chief aim using the sentence formula. Make it measurable with 1 primary metric. Define the next 12 weeks as your test window. Read your aim silently. Now ask, what is the 1 measurable sign that proves I am moving forward? Write it. Ask, what is the 1 behavior that, if repeated, makes this aim inevitable? Write it. Finally ask, what excuse could I hide behind? Write that too. because we will plan for it. Where is my aim still vague? What metric would remove self-deception? If I could only do one behavior weekly, what would it be? Definiteness requires a written sentence. SMART is a clarity tool, not a religion. A good aim guides decisions and priorities. You wrote your first chief aim statement and anchored it with a measurable indicator, your foundation for the execution system. Chapter 5. Breaking the aim into measurable steps. If the aim is the destination, your steps are the vehicle. You will translate your chief aim into key results, milestones, and weekly actions using SMART, OKR logic, and WOOP obstacle planning. Key results: measurement without confusion. OKRs, separate direction from measurement. An objective states what matters. Key results state how you will know you are making progress. We can use that distinction personally. Your chief aim is the objective. Your key results are the scoreboard. Choose 3 key results. Pick 3 measurable outcomes for 12 weeks. 1 output metric, what you produce. 1 process metric, what you practice. 1 capacity metric, what you build, fitness, skill, savings, hours. 3 is enough. More creates noise. Milestones and the 12-week window. A 12-week window is long enough to build momentum and short enough to maintain urgency. It also creates natural review points. Divide 3 key results into week 4, week 8, and week 12 targets. WOOP, your biggest obstacle. WOOP forces you to name the internal obstacle and build an if-then plan. This makes your plan honest. If you cannot name obstacles, you're not planning, you're hoping. Create a 1-page aim dashboard. Chief aim at the top. 3 key results with baseline numbers and 12-week targets, 3 milestone checkpoints. Week 4, week 8, week 12. Select 3 key results and write baselines. Set week 4/8/12 milestone numbers. Choose 1 obstacle and write 1 if-then plan for it. Say your chief aim out loud once. Now say, in 12 weeks, I will know I'm on track if blank. Name 1. Key result. Now ask, what will try to stop me? Name 1 internal obstacle. Now complete. If blank happens, then I will blank. Write the sentence exactly. This becomes your default move. Which metric is the clearest proof of progress? What is my most predictable obstacle? What would week 12 success look like? Separate direction from measurement. Limit key results to reduce noise. Plan for obstacles with if-then responses. You built a measurable dashboard, 1 aim, 3 key results, milestone targets, and a first obstacle plan. Part 3. Setting the plan. Chapter 6. Building unwavering belief in your aim. Belief is not optimism. Belief is what remains after you see the work. You will replace fragile confidence with evidence-based self-trust, built through small wins, feedback, and plan reliability. The role of self-efficacy. Belief strengthens when you see yourself follow through. Goal-setting research treats commitment and feedback as essential conditions for consistent effects. So belief is built by making promises small enough to keep. Convert belief into behaviors. Instead of saying, I believe I can, we ask, what would a person who believes do today? This is an identity translation. Belief becomes action. Action becomes evidence. Use feedback, not mood, as your anchor. When you track key results weekly, you create stable feedback. Tracking reduces self-deception and drama. Your dashboard is not a judgment tool. It is a navigation tool, the anti-collapse rule. When you miss, you do not rewrite your identity as inconsistent. You return to the smallest valid action within 24 hours. This protects continuity. Write your evidence log template. Today I kept my aim alive by... Keep it brutally small. This is about identity continuity. Choose one daily minimum action that keeps your aim alive. Track it for 7 days. Record 1 sentence of evidence each night. Breathe in. Say, belief follows evidence. Now recall one moment, any moment, when you did something difficult and finished it. Name what you did. Name the trait it proves. Disciplined, patient, resilient, focused. Now say, that trait is part of me. I will use it again today. Open your eyes and write your minimum action for the next 24 hours. What is the smallest action that proves I'm serious? When I miss, what is my quickest return action? What evidence already exists that I can follow through? Belief is built through reliable follow-through, not speeches. Feedback stabilizes effort. Continuity beats intensity. You installed a belief system based on evidence, minimum actions, a nightly evidence log, and a rapid return rule. Chapter 7. Commitment and the Execution System. Commitment is what you do when the feeling is gone. You will build structural commitment, implementation intentions, environment design, and a weekly review ritual that makes follow-through easier. Why willpower is the wrong bottleneck. Most failures are not moral failures. They are unplanned contexts. You hit your usual cues and run your usual routine. Planning must include the situation, not just the desire. The if-then backbone. Implementation intentions are if-then plans linking a cue to an action. They strengthen intention translation, particularly when self-regulatory problems are likely. You will write 3. 1 start plan. If it is time, then I begin task. 1 obstacle plan. If I feel state, then I do response. 1 recovery plan. If I miss a day, then I do minimum action within 24 hours. Environment is a commitment device. If cues shape behavior, change cues. Put tools in sight and friction in the way of distractions. This is applied behavioral design, not motivation theater. Weekly review as non-negotiable. Weekly review is where commitment becomes real. You check key results, adjust tactics, and pre-plan the next week's cues. Schedule a 20-minute weekly review in your calendar now. Write an agenda. Scoreboard check. Obstacle review. Next week's 1 focus. Write 3 if-then plans. Start, obstacle, recovery. Change 1 environmental cue today. Schedule your weekly review and protect it. Close your eyes. Imagine the most common moment you fail. Late evening, stress, boredom, scrolling, whatever it is. Now say, if that moment happens, then I will blank, blank, blank. Choose 1 clean action, a 2-minute start, a short walk, opening the document, laying out workout clothes. Repeat the if-then sentence twice. Open your eyes and write it where you will see it. What situation most often defeats me? What cue can I change this week? What is my recovery plan when I miss? Commitment is engineered through plans and cues. If-then planning closes the intention-action gap. Weekly review turns goals into a living system. You upgraded from wanting your aim to building the structures that carry it. If-then plans, cue design, and weekly review. Part 4. Consistency and Execution. Chapter 8. Visualizing Success Without Fantasy. Visualization fails when it replaces work. It succeeds when it prepares work. You will use visualization as rehearsal, combine it with mental contrasting, and protect yourself from feel-good, do-nothing imagery. Outcome imagery versus process imagery. Evidence suggests that imagining process steps can outperform imagining outcomes alone. In academic contexts, process simulations can reduce anxiety and support planning. So we visualize the work, not just the win. Mental contrasting prevents fantasy. Mental contrasting pairs a desired future with present obstacles. When combined with implementation intentions, it can improve outcomes. This is why WOOP is in this audiobook. It makes visualization honest. Identity rehearsal. You are not only rehearsing tasks, you are rehearsing the person who keeps promises. Ask, how does that person move through a difficult day? Short daily visualization. Keep it short, 60 seconds. Daily rehearsal is more effective than occasional dramatic sessions because it becomes a cue for action. Write a 30-second day rehearsal script. One obstacle I will likely face is Zapa Kuardu. When it happens, I will. After I act, I will feel. Swap outcome fantasy for process rehearsal. Add one obstacle and your if-then response. Rehearse for 60 seconds before your main daily action. Close your eyes. Picture starting your main action today. See the first 2 minutes. Now picture the obstacle. Fatigue, distraction, doubt. Do not fight it. Just notice it. Now see yourself executing the plan. If, then I will. Watch yourself do the first small step. Open your eyes and begin within the next 5 minutes. Where do I rely on fantasy instead of rehearsal? What is the most realistic obstacle today? What is the first 2-minute step? Process rehearsal beats outcome-only fantasy. Mental contrasting plus planning supports follow-through. Visualization is a cue for action, not a replacement for action. You learn to visualize in a way that produces behavior. Rehearse the process, name the obstacle, execute the plan. Chapter 9. Staying focused and handling distractions. Distraction is rarely random. It is a predictable escape route. You will treat distraction as a cue-driven pattern, install protective boundaries, and use your chief aim as a filter. Distraction as a cue and reward loop. Many distractions follow a loop. Cue, stress. Routine, avoidance. Reward, relief. Popular habit models highlight the cue-routine-reward structure of habits. Your job is not to hate yourself for distraction. It is to intercept the cue. The aim filter, what matters now? Ask one question at the start of each work block. Which action most directly moves my key result today? This prevents the busy but meaningless trap. Focus blocks and friction design. Make the desired action easy to start. Pre-open the document, pre-pack the gym bag, pre-plan the first task. Make distractions harder. Move the phone. Block sites, remove triggers. Recovery after distraction. When you drift, return with a frictionless reset. Stand up, breathe once. Read your aim sentence. Do the first 60 seconds of the task. Create a distraction map. Cue, when/where I get distracted. Routine, what I do. Reward, what relief I get. Replacement, a healthier routine that gives a similar reward. Identify your top distraction cue and reward. Replace the routine with a 2-minute alternative. Use a written aim filter question before each focus block. Notice your current state. Tense, restless, avoidant. Name it without judgment. Now read your aim sentence once. Ask, what is the smallest action that counts as progress? Set a 2-minute timer. When it starts, you begin. No negotiating. 2 minutes is not the goal. It is the ignition. What emotion most often triggers my distraction? What reward am I actually seeking? What 2-minute routine could replace my avoidance? Distraction is cue-driven and can be redesigned. Your aim is a filter for focus. 2-minute ignition prevents collapse into avoidance. You replaced moralizing about distraction with an execution approach. Map the loop, change the cue or routine, and return fast. Chapter 10. Integrating your aim into daily life. A chief aim only becomes real when it shows up in your calendar. You will integrate your aim into routines, identity language, and a weekly measurement rhythm that sustains progress beyond motivation. Identity-based behavior. If you want consistency, link actions to identity. I am the type of person who blank. This is emphasized in modern habit literature that frames behavior as a vote for identity. Your chief aim is not only an outcome, it is a person you are practicing. The daily triad. Each day includes one action that moves a key result, one action that protects energy, sleep, movement, food, one action that restores order, planning, tidying, review. This prevents progress from being fragile. Weekly review and course correction. Weekly review is where data becomes insight. Check your key results, your habit consistency, and your obstacles. Adjust tactics, not identity. This honors what goal-setting research emphasizes. Feedback and adjustment matter. Habit time expectations. Habit formation is variable and often slower than pop culture claims. Expect a multi-week build with ups and downs. Missing once does not end the process, so you design for continuity, not perfection. Write your aim day template. Morning, read aim plus choose today's one key result action. Midday, 5-minute check-in. Am I on aim? Evening, evidence log plus prepare the next cue. Put your key result action on the calendar daily for 12 weeks. Do a weekly review with your dashboard. Keep an evidence log to reinforce identity. Take a breath. Say, my aim is not an idea. It is a schedule. Now picture tomorrow morning. What is the first action that proves your aim matters? See yourself doing it, even if imperfectly. Now open your calendar and place it. A time, a duration, a title. When you name it, you make it real. Where does my calendar contradict my aim? What daily triad action is missing? What data will I review weekly? Identity language reinforces consistency. Weekly review converts effort into learning. Habit formation is variable. Continuity matters more than perfection. You integrated your chief aim into identity, routines, and measurement. So it survives beyond motivation and becomes a lived system. Conclusion. Living your definite chief aim. The aim is not completed by writing it. It is completed by living it. You will consolidate your artifacts, commit to a 12-week cycle, and adopt a long-term stance. Measure, learn, repeat. What you now have. You have a written chief aim. You have measurable key results and milestones. You have if-then plans for obstacles and recovery. You have a weekly review rhythm and a daily minimum action. That is a complete execution system, purpose and durability. A meaningful aim is not only productive, it can shape how you experience your life. Research links purpose with better long-term outcomes in longitudinal data. So treat your aim as contribution, not only achievement. The repetition principle. Your 12-week cycle is the unit of change. Do not evaluate your worth daily. Evaluate your direction weekly and your results at week 12. Then reset the cycle with higher competence and clearer insight. Reread your chief aim sentence daily for the next 14 days. Complete 4 weekly reviews before you judge whether this works. At week 12, keep what worked, discard what did not, and run another cycle. Close your eyes. Say, I choose a definite aim. Now repeat your chief aim sentence slowly, once. Pause. Say, I will be measurable, not dramatic. Now repeat your first key result. Pause. Say, if obstacles arise, I have a plan. Now repeat one, if then plan. Open your eyes. Write, Week 1, focus. A definite chief aim is a commitment to clarity. It turns desire into a written mission, mission into measurable results, and results into daily behavior. Your job now is simple. Run the system for 12 weeks, review weekly, adjust honestly, and repeat. That is how a life stops drifting and starts being directed. Week 1. Finalize chief aim sentence and baselines. Choose key results. Write if-then plans. Week 2. Install daily minimum action. Begin evidence log. First weekly review. Week 3. Increase reps and reduce friction. Improve environment cues. Second weekly review. Week 4. Milestone check. Week 4 targets. Adjust tactics. Reinforce start plan. Week 5. Add one skill building block. Tighten calendar commitments. Weekly review. Week 6. WOOP main obstacle. Again. Strengthen recovery plan. Weekly review. Week 7. Consolidate habits. Remove one distraction trigger. Weekly review. Week 8. Milestone check. Week 8 targets. Decide on one strategic pivot. Weekly review. Week 9. Raise quality standards slightly. Maintain minimum action. Weekly review. Week 10. Focus on consistency under stress. Test obstacle protocols. Weekly review. Week 11. Prepare week 12. Sprint. Protect sleep/energy. Weekly review. Week 12. Final measurement and scoring. Write lessons learned. Reset next 12 weeks cycle.